Whoa! Ah! Oh God, my beard fell off! Ah! What's going on, guys? I said fuck it, no, I shaved. I think you could tell that. Just getting in my mouth a lot, and it's still a bit warm out, so I figured, you know what? I'll give myself one last trim before the winter comes. And at this point, I figured I might as well do the whole deal. Shave right down. I usually don't go babyface. If you watch my vlogs much, or watch especially my older videos, you might see it a bit more. But lately I've been pretty hard on the beard, that's for sure. Sometimes I like to rock the baby face though. You know, back when I was a single guy, it sometimes was pretty good for picking up the ladies. It also makes me fucking look a lot younger. You think I look like I'm 36 now? With the beard, it's pretty obvious. When I shave, I get ID'd still. Which is pretty cool in a way. That's right, I'm on the monsters. You're fucking right I am, bitch. Just going for a little drive here up to the old man's place, i.e. the off-grid property, which I really got to get some shit on the go up there. As per usual, you know, I didn't do anything most of the summer, so now it's getting cooler. Start realizing, crap, there's like a million things I got to do before the fucking snow flies. So. Like, that truck is rough. Anyways, just looking. Actually, buddy employed me last year hauling lobster traps. That's who that guy was. But his truck is so fucked up. All smashed to fuck. So yeah, what else can I tell you? Oh, co-worker. Hope he doesn't notice me. I don't know, dude. He's probably gonna be like, hey, I seen him drive by. Well, yeah, that'll happen. You see, I'm supposed to be at work right now, but I'm not, so. I wasn't feeling the best. I barely got any sleep last night. Didn't get any sleep. I was tired, my back was sore. I said, you know what, fuck it, take a day. Not bad, you know. It's the first day since I started there, except for one day I took with a tooth. With a bad tooth. And, you know, well, if your tooth is bad, your tooth is bad, right? You know, you can't do nothing about that, but every couple months, usually with my old job, I'd take a day. Sometimes you just need to, you know, clear your head. I call them mental health days. But, anyways, that doesn't really matter. Truck's acting weird since I run it out of gas. I must have a clog injector or fuel filter or something now. Or semi, anyways, because sputters fucking stalled on me once. Which is a new problem. Don't usually do any of that, but, you know, that's what happens when you actually run something dry of gas. It's not good for the whole fuel system, that's for sure. I've had some cars, some of my old cars, fucking used to run out of gas all fucking time. Didn't phase them a bit, but I guess that all depends on what your tank looks like inside. You know, well, that's, I guess, one of the biggest things, as well as, you know, your filters and all that. But, just thought I'd give you guys a little update. I mean, there's not much going on to be mentioned. It's the same old for the most part. My YouTube, I must say, has actually been down, which is kind of disappointing, but not overly surprising, because I haven't put out a hell of a lot of content. The content I've been putting out recently has been relatively the same. A lot of driving vlogs, and besides that, the only thing I'm putting up besides driving vlogs lately is you know, my truck project. I'd like to have time to do more videos, boys, but honestly, I just don't have time these days. I got so much on the go. I didn't, even now things are a bit slower. I mean, they're at the beginning of summer. 180 miles a minute. No, fucking truck almost stalled there. That's never good. But, yeah, I'm not going 180 miles an hour in every direction at the same time anymore, which is really good. Because I was kind of, well, I did kind of burn myself out a little bit. Just doing too much at the same time, you know. When you wake up first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock, get ready, you go to work, and then you go to bed at 1, and you know, because you didn't stop till 12:30 at night, you know, and you do that for extended periods. You don't take a lot of time for yourself. Well, you start burning yourself out after a while. I didn't completely burn myself out by any means. You know, I just, I did feel it, kind of. But I also had to do what I had to do, right? I mean, here at the beginning of the summer, the end of the spring, well, I was coming off not working for 6 months and having no income at all for 6 months. So, you know, I had to rebuild my everything. Basically, I had to rebuild my standings in life. You know, rebuild my junk collection, pay off all my fucking bills, which is probably the biggest one. Stuff like that, right? But that's mostly taken care of now, so now it's kind of. That is clear sailing from now on, hopefully anyways. Sorry guys, the truck kind of pissed me off there, stalling again. Keep stalling. Stall tactics. Stall tactics. What is it? Oh, it's the shed. Okay, it's up there. I could see this line right there, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I thought it was something in the truck, but it's not. It's outside the truck. So does it fuck you up, guys? Seeing me with the baby face? It's actually, look real close. You might see it's still stubbly. Hard for me to get all my fucking hair off my face. Like the rest of my body, the rest of my head anyways, the hair grows in every different direction. Like one hair goes that way, the next one goes that way, the next one goes that way, the next one goes this way, the next one goes this way, the next one goes this way, the next one goes that way, the next one goes that way. My hair is just swirly and curly, and like, you know, I think you guys seen a bit when it grows out, it starts going all curly and crazy. So I just thought, I don't know, wanted a bit of a change. It's still early enough. It's nice and warm. And love fucking with you guys just to see what you guys think. I'm gonna fuck with a few people actually, because nobody knows I did it yet. I just did it first thing this morning. I didn't tell nobody. Ooh, I think I missed a spot in the back of my head there. I can feel too. Oh well. That's what other people are for. They can touch that shit up for me. I'll cut my own hair all the time, but I quite frequently fuck it up. Oh, I can't really show you the back of my head, but I got a cyst right on the crown of my head, or the crown of my skull, whatever you call it. And that cyst is rather large, and it creates a big bump in the back of my head. Like, there's usually a lump anyways, but now the lump's really big. So it makes it so it's really hard to cut, and I usually have little sprigs of hair here and there that I gotta get somebody else to do for me. No biggie, I expect it, but usually get them to do my neck hair too, because I can't really do that. I have done it. I've done a perfect job on my hair, but it takes a while. I got to spend like half hour or more just cleaning it all off and going over and over and over it, and then going by feel to do the neck hair. It's kind of sketchy because, you know, I could just go and then, oh fuck, I got a big old neck in it, and then I gotta, you know. cut it out or trim it different. Oh my! But anyways, it's just a haircut. It happens. I mean, I cut my hair down to a 1/4 inch there in like the beginning of June, end of May, and you saw how much hair, like my fucking beard was out to here. You know, my fucking hair was just like, it was about that long. My hair seems to grow real fucking quick, like an inch a month or close to it. That's quite a lot, I think. But that's nothing new. My hair always grew really fast. My facial hair grows just about as fast too, because my whole head of hair just fucking, I'm like a fucking chia pet. You fucking add some water and my fucking face just explodes with hair. But I guess that's what happens when you're male, and you have hairy genes, as opposed to some guys which are what would you call them? Skinny jeans? No. Not skinny, but not hairy. Anyways, uh, also I wanted to say kind of a sorry to you guys. You probably noticed this a little while back. There was a big gap in my videos for about a week there. I was trying to get a couple videos up. I just didn't have time, really. And the few times I'd have time to get on the internet and start farting around, the problem I was having was that I wasn't on on YouTube. I was on Facebook because, as some of you probably know, if not all of you, it's the midst of the Canadian election, and well, this election is fucked. There's a lot of fucked up shit going on. A lot of people, a lot of misinformation, a lot of trolls. Um, you guys may remember, I'm no stranger to trolls. I actually had fun for a while trolling trolls on YouTube here, and then I realized that it's got a kind of a get nowhere, do nothing thing. So I stopped doing it here. Well, now I've kind of done the same thing on YouTube or on Facebook. I find there's a lot of trolls on there, people making up fake accounts, just totally slandering other people and like political parties, because I don't know if they're paid or not. In all honesty, I'll tell you, I think it's conservative paid trolls, to be honest. By the way they're acting, I mean, they're all from Alberta, so that kind of singles them down, or almost all of them. Then most of them are from Calgary, the ones that you can find out that they're from anywhere. And, that narrows it down a bit more. It keeps narrowing down to the point where probably these guys are in the same building. I bet you they're in the same office. It's probably, it's probably a call center, which is just paid to, paid probably minimum wage or just a little better. They go on, say nothing bad about the Conservatives and anything bad about any other party that they can find, and any new posts from any other party. They go on there and just spread racism and lies and deception and try to change the subject and get people away from the actual subjects. And I must say they do a good job of it. It actually does work, as scary as that is. But what I've been doing is exposing these people. Because a lot of people, I can take a quick look, and it's not hard to tell when somebody's Facebook account is fake. If you have no friends, you have no information about you, and you don't have any pictures at all, and there's no likes, interests, or anything of that sort at all on your Facebook, it's pretty obvious your Facebook ain't real. I've seen, I've had mine and I've seen others. When you max out your settings on Facebook, your privacy settings, you can still see some of that stuff. These people you can't, because it doesn't exist, because they're not real people. A lot of them seem to be this way, and again, it all boils back to the same thing. It's sad and scary at the same time. I mean, the way our country's been going, it's pretty sad. We used to be a global example. Now we're like the global joke. They can't even get this fucking dictator of a leader out. And that, the majority of people want him out, but unless I don't even know if we can get him out. He's fucked up everything so bad. And even like last election, fuck, we had misinformation like crazy, these robocalls and election fraud, which they admitted to doing, but it's weird. So many people just don't care anymore, and they're so, past politics. They're just sick of it. I am too, in a way. I hate politics in a way. I mean, it interests me just because it affects me, but I hate politicians, I can tell you that, and I don't really care what party they're for. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much who you vote for. They're all relatively the same, I agree on that, but, you know, Harper seems to be the worst thing Canada's ever had or seen. He's the biggest blemish in our history so far. But that's what happens. He's not even, they say progressive conservative, but they're actually regressive reformers, from what I see. But another thing I'm starting to see from this, and I'm not trying to insult anybody here, and I hope nobody takes it this way, but it seems like there's a great divide forming between East and West. Um, a lot of Albertans feel, or seem to feel, from what I see, that you know we've used them because of these transfer payments and shit like that. Even though if it wasn't for the transfer payments from us to them in the 30s, there wouldn't even be Alberta oil, but that's a whole other story. Just this, like they, in Alberta, a lot of these people, again, these are the trolls I'm talking about. These aren't your everyday people necessarily, though I have seen some people that I know affected by this and influenced by them, and that's what bothers me. But it just seems like there's this great divide. Like, a lot of people from here now slander here and say how horrible of a place this is and stuff, just because they're told. Everybody says that out there, so you hear something enough, you agree with it. I'm not saying this is the best place in the world. I mean, economically, you know, the West is doing much better than us. At least they were. But to slander your fellow countrymen and other parts of your country, it seems weird. Like I said, there seems to be a rift forming, especially lately. I think it's because in Alberta right now, there's probably a hell of a lot of anger and confusion and mistrust going around because everybody, Alberta's built on oil. Oil's crashed. So, every day more and more people are getting laid off. More and more people are having to, tighten their belts and lose their jobs and get their life twist turned upside down. And they're looking for any scapegoat they can just to blame somebody for it. And unfortunately, sometimes it becomes the rest of Canada's problem. And it seems like a lot of them act like, they know what's best for Canada when, I'm sorry, but, to be honest, your average Joe Schmo from Calgary doesn't know jack shit about what we need here, just like I know jack shit about what they need over there. You know, in my opinion, they need a swift kick in the arse over there because they had all this fucking money and they just pissed it away. And you can see it with so many people that went out. How many people? I mean, even across the country, do you know that went out west? They got a great job. They're making like $100,000 a year, and they bought a house and a truck, and they got this big fucking house and a big fucking truck and all this new stuff, and then all of a sudden they get laid off and they lose everything. And it's all gone because they pissed it away. They didn't invest any of it. They didn't. Is it smart to buy a $750,000 house in Fort Mac? Fort McMurray? I don't think so. I never thought it. I never would have thought so. It's a boom town. Boom towns are short-lived. Our country is full of boom towns that are ghost towns now because, think of the gold rush. It's no different. Not at all, actually, except for, the dates are different. But, anyways, guys, I can go on and on for hours and hours about this. It's kind of a heated subject for me. I like to talk about politics. I like to argue about politics a lot. Um, you know, feel free to drop some comments. You know, again, I'm not trying to insult anyone specifically. There's, I don't have anything against Albertans or anybody from out west in particular. Just these small groups of basically what I call paid con trolls or paid conservative trolls that are spreading all this bullshit and getting some of these people that don't understand what's going on around us right now sucked into it. Um, you I just feel that the way we're going, if Harper gets back in, I don't think I'm going to be proud to be Canadian anymore. It's a sad thing to say, but we're losing everything that's so great about our country, and he's the main reason. I mean, our society's changing too, and that's a whole different thing. But with Harper, we got, it's just he's taken away everything that made our country great not so long ago. But, it seems like the states are finally coming around. This is what I've seen, anyways. But a lot of, ways the states have actually come around and are getting better and smarter than us in everything that we used to make fun of them for being behind the times in, like the environment, perfect example. Uh, Dope, weed, that's another perfect example. They gave up on the war on drugs. They were the biggest country in the world against dope, and they're now they're one of the more lenient countries on it in areas, anyways. That's got to tell you something. And here we used to be more lenient, but now we're getting stricter, which just doesn't make sense. It seems that we're regressing. The rest of the world keeps progressing, but we're like taking a step back. And we're like, which just is wrong. I don't know why that people think that's right. And now we have all this racism over the hijab or however, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But the burqa face covering, you know, it's a scarf basically used to cover somebody's face. There are different reasons, and I don't agree with the oppression of women at all by any means, but at the same time, to say that people can't wear it is also wrong. I mean, people wear yarmulkes and turbans and toques and, you know, everything. Ball caps and, skull caps and this, that, and the other thing, right? And it's a head covering. When it all comes down to it, so many people take it as like some great sign. It's a fucking head covering. It was designed like it was, or worn like it is in the desert because it's fucking hot there, and there's blowing sand, and you put shit over your face so you don't get a face full of sand. Especially in, a lot of them places are much poorer than here, so you can't buy a gas mask or a fucking respirator and walk around in a windstorm, right? But anyways, guys, I really got to stop this rant. Like I said, I can go on and on and on. But feel free to drop some comments. Let me know what you think. I know there's a few guys, actually quite a few guys now, that are actually from out of the country. I'd like to see what, you guys are thinking. Um, Most of you guys that I remember are out of country or American, Australian, or from the UK for the most part. I'd like to see all your guys' opinions, to be honest. Uh, you may not even know or follow the election too much. I mean, it's not your country, so I wouldn't blame you if it is, if you don't. But I just would like to hear some opinions. I like to bounce things off other people. That way, I can keep my own, stuff legit and up to date and, in tune with everybody else, not just me. Anyways, guys, thanks again for watching my vids. As always, I appreciate you watching. Um, Hopefully I'll get into some more content in the near future here. I actually may drop a few more political videos before the election's over. If that bores you or, you don't like that kind of thing, I'm sorry, but it's something I'm somewhat passionate about, and I feel it's very important to get the word out this year, or this time. Too many people just don't care and can't be bothered anymore with politics, but it still affects us big time. You know, Too many people are worried about celebrities when, you know, politics actually makes a difference. Anyways, yeah, I'm never gonna shut up if I don't shut up. So, thanks a lot for watching. If you like your watching my videos, feel free to click like, share. If you're a fairly new subscriber, I have a lot of videos. I've been on YouTube since June of 2009. Feel free to go back and check some out. My older videos are more motor related and gearhead related, a lot less vlogs and a lot more, you know, well, what it is. You just have to go look. Anyways, guys, thanks again. Ghetto Hillbilly 1 out. Peace. Well, where's that button?